There is this interesting saying which claims that if the government would compel every single parent to take their 4 months baby to a facility where they would be taught how to walk, in 2 generations, people would believe that babies cannot learn how to walk without the government. And you can see it happening here when it comes to the pension system, because a lot of people were born into it. They cannot imagine that there is a world that can exist without the pension system. And when you actually look into things, you realize that the concept of the government stealing your money and promising that you're going to get a pension when you're old is actually extremely recent. Like, it didn't exist before 1940. But again, like, people are used to this system, and so they cannot conceive the abolition of this system. And the reality is that the system is not sustainable because it's a Ponzi scheme. It relies on having younger people that are more numerous than the elderly generation. And so this system was actually created in a world that was constantly panicking that the world has too many humans. Every single millennial that grew up is probably just as mind-fucked as I was, because for the first years of our lives, like, everywhere you looked, whether it was the newspapers, whether it was television, it was like this constant hysteria that humanity is just going to have way, way too many people. And because we have so many babies and humanity's growth is exponential, but our food supply is linear, we're going to become like locusts and just devour the earth. And we're going to live in a future where you're going to have 100 people on 1 square meter. And then something shifted, and now people are panicking like, no, actually people are having too few children, like humanity is going extinct. We can't support the pension system. We need to import more migrants. We need to steal people from other nations. We need to steal other people's children so that they can pay for our pension. And it's so fucked up when you think about it, right? Now, the way the government is trying to fix this is either with maids in Canada, right? Like medical assisted suicide, which in my opinion, I view it like a lot more honest and a lot more practical than what the UK is doing, where they basically like saying, yeah, we're going to probably pay you a pension when you're 75 years old. Like, this is insane, okay? So let's analyze what this actually means. Like, first of all, the reason we actually have a depression in the demographics, well, one of them is the pension system. Like, I want you to think about what it meant for a person living before 1940 and how he was thinking about his golden years. There was no government to give him cash, right? Like, there was nothing that would give him money. So, like, he had to have a big family. He needed to have a lot of kids in the hopes that at least one of them is going to think of old papa or of old grandma when she's old. And that's how people, like, genuinely thought about it back then. Like, having children was an investment. It wasn't a drain. Like, sure, you know, you have a drain initially when you have kids and you raise them, but, like, after that, they're supposed to actually look after one another, and they're also supposed to look after their parents. Nowadays, there's literally, like, no financial reason to have kids. I'm not saying that having kids should be just because of financial reasons, but, like, it used to be one of the reasons, right? It's being robbed from us. Because the government is now your child, you know? Like, the government is just taking money from you, and when you're old, the government will take care of you. At least that was the agreement, and many people that were stupid enough to believe it are going to end up in a situation when they're old, no one is going to take care of them. So let's look at a little bit at what this means, right? Up until now, the pension system was a risk-based contract. And a risk-based contract implies that no one knows which party is going to win. These risk-based contracts can be like insurance, healthcare, pension. The idea is that you're paying for your entire life, right? And so you can actually die before you're 65, and all the money that you paid are lost. Like, you took a risk. And it's the same with insurance if you think about it, right? Like, if you have a car insurance and you pay every single month, but, like, you never actually commit a car crash, then you are on the loss, like you constantly paid. And same with healthcare. Like you can pay for your entire life and you never need hospitalization. So you're on the loss. Alternatively, right, it's risk-based. So like you can be on the winning side. You can, for example, pay your entire life, but you live up until the age of 110. And it is possible, like, the government is actually going to pay you a higher pension than you actually paid in the system. The same with car insurance. Like, let's say you actually do have a car crash, and you check in a lot more than you paid in, right? Same with healthcare. Like, you paid your entire life, and all of a sudden you have, like, these chronic illnesses that require treatment. And so, risk-based means that either side can benefit more for the duration of the contract. No one knows who's actually on the winning side. But this idea of moving pension all the way to 75 almost eliminates the risk from the government side. Because let's be honest, most people, they may reach the age of 75, if that. But once they reach the age of 75, how many years do they have left? Like maybe they have like 5-10 years, right? So, like, you have an individual that has his money taken away from the day he starts working, because you can't opt out of the system, right? So, like, you start working at the age of 18, and all the way up until 75, like, the government just milks you of cash. More than 70 years, the government takes money, just so that they can give you back 5 or 10 years. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. It's disgusting. You're being robbed. Like, I'm not saying that taxation is theft, right? Even though I should. But there are some taxes that most people want to pay because, like, the logistics need to happen, right? Like, trains still need to arrive on time. The trucks coming to the supermarket need to have good roads to go there. You need a police force and a firefighting force. Like, okay, fine. But, like, do I really need the government to take 70 years worth of money from me with the promise that I may get, like, 3 or 5 years back? It's insane, right? And not to mention, like, okay, you're 65. And I heard Ben Shapiro, and I think I even heard Matt Walsh saying that, well, if you're 65, you still can work. Who the fuck is going to hire someone at 65? When you're 65, you probably have a lot of work experience, and so you're probably going to ask more cash than a young person that, okay, maybe not as educated as you are, but they have a lot of energy, they can be trained, and on top of that, they're willing to work for less. So again, like, who's going to hire a 65-year-old? Like, would you hire a 65-year-old if you have a company and you have, like, a 65-year-old and you have a 22-year-old? Most people are going to hire a 22-year-old. So, like, okay, you now have an elderly gentleman that's 65, and they can't do anything, and they have to wait 10 more years until they may get a pension. And by the way, like, that pension may also be peanuts. And in the meantime, they have, like, all these clinical conditions, and they need to buy medicine and shit. This is disgusting. This is robbery. Like, one of the reasons that people rebelled against the feudal system, and you even learn about this in school, is that, well, the feudal system was slavery. Like, you were being oppressed as a peasant tied to the land. Like, you had to work for your noble, and the noble gave you dick in return. I mean, sure, in theory, the noble would protect you, but in reality, like, you would actually be drafted to war and you had to protect yourself. Sometimes you'd fight war for other people. And so that system was unfair and unjust, right? But now it's different because, like, the government taxes you and gives you something in return. What the fuck does they give you in return here? Why can't people opt out? And what's also interesting, and this is something that I need to discuss in a separate video, but most people have noticed this. Like, most people are aware that they may not have a pension. And so what they're doing is, like, they're trying to invest their money in different things. And so in the United States, a lot of people play on the stock market. Like, that's actually an American thing where it's not unusual for a citizen to actually invest money in stock. In the United Kingdom, they don't do that. Like, in the United Kingdom, most people probably don't even know how the stock market operates. I'm not kidding. But what they do is they flip property. So in the UK, the boomer generation, a lot of them, have bought housing. They bought property. And so now, it's in their interest that the property value rises. And this is, like, one of the reasons why both the Tories and the Labours, like, brought migration. Because, like, they genuinely want housing prices to go up. Right? Like, even the politicians, they also brought housing. And they are also aware that when they're going old, they may not have money. And they also want to save something for their kids. And so they actually do want property value to keep going up. And even in the US, where, again, like, it's not as bad as in the UK, you have Donald Trump basically saying, yeah, I could make housing prices to go down, but, like, let's be honest, it wouldn't be fair for the boomers. And the thing is, like, I don't blame the boomers, right? Because, like, we're going to become boomers as well. And we would also have liked to have a house and the property value goes up because, like, when it's your money, when it's in your self-interest, like, obviously you want this. But it wouldn't have to be this way if this fucking system wouldn't exist. Anyway, right, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.